All right, guys, welcome back to my channel. So you've got an admission and into the school of your choice in Canada. And basically, what's next? It's time for you to make that application for your student permit as well as your temporary residency visa. So how do you go about this? I'm going to show you just that in this video. So if you're interested in this and other contents like this, don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that way you keep informed when I get to post new videos along this line so you don't get lost. So let's get into it. All right, guys, welcome back. Now, before we go on, I am not an immigration consultant. I'm not a licensed immigration consultant. So therefore, whatever I'm telling you is basically from my personal experience, from my research. So you should do your research as well. All right. So I'm going to be showing you in this video exactly how to begin your student visa application for Canada. So how do we start this, right? I'm just going to share my screen and we have where we like to start. So you've gained admission to that school of your choice, be it in any province or whatever. This is how you start. Remember, if you didn't watch the previous videos where I talked about how to verify that your school was legit, you can check that video right here, up here somewhere. Yeah, you can check that video and make sure you're informed and do all of that search so you don't waste your energy and your money, quite honestly. So remember how to check the DLI list, and I'm sure you've done all of that check. So now you're ready for this. So let's come to this website. It's a website we've been to quite a bit. Just type Canada. Just type Canada.ca on the Google search, right? It'll bring you to this website. Now, if it doesn't bring you here, just to be sure you're coming to the right place, you can just type Canada space CA, just like this. So once you search it, it's pretty much going to be the first thing on the list. So we have Canada CA. Now this is the home of the Canada, the government of Canada's website. So basically you come over here and you'll be met with something like this. So this is Canada.ca. So what you want to click on immigration and citizenship. That is the first thing you want to click. This is where you start your journey, right? You select this and you're brought onto this page. It tells you immigration and citizenship, apply to travel, study, work, or immigrate to Canada, right? So you can see that we are in the right place. This is basically talking about what we're here to do, right? You see different programs that the government has. This is the government's official website. And so what we're going to start with, the very first thing you want to do, you want to bring your attention down, scroll down a bit, and come to this My Application, right? If you look, you see a couple of things. You can basically select visit, work, immigrate, study to kind of learn more about these things, and basically the link will take you there eventually. But pretty much what I like to start with is just select My Application, because we want to be able to create an account. Now I'm assuming you do not have an account on this platform, so you want to be able to create an account and then go on to begin your actual application. So now we're here. Without further ado, you see the first option here says we should sign in or create an account. It says apply online, pay your fees, get your application status, check your messages. All right, so this is what we want to do. The first thing we want to do is you click this button, it brings you to this page. It says sign in to your IRCC secure account. Now we're going to be doing this together, guys. I'm so excited to be doing this video actually. So this is how we create an account. Now for your student permit, let's say you've gotten some other type of permits to come to Canada before, this is the same platform you're going to be using for every single application, right? It's all been digitized and basically happens on this web portal. So right now, there are different options you're going to be met with here. You see the first option is GCKey sign in, and you have option 2, which says sign in partner. So this basically allows you to kind of like sign in with the banks in Canada, or like the sign-in partners that the government has, mostly banks. Yeah, banks actually. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with the GCKey, because right now, let's just imagine we don't have a bank account with any bank. We don't have any relationship with any bank in Canada. You're just starting from scratch, trying to begin your Canadian journey. So basically, you're going to go with GCKey right here. And I'm going to click sign in with GCKey, or instead of clicking that, you can just come down here and click register, because it said don't have an account, register. So you click this button here, brings you here and tells you how to register for an account, and it tells you there are 2 ways. You can register with GCKey, or you can register with a sign-in partner. So we're going to scroll down, and the first thing we'll do is we'll look at this first option that says register with GCKey, right? And this would allow us register with GCKey. Tell us a little bit about what the GCKey is. It basically allows us to access government services. So yeah, and then it tells us the steps we're going to take. We're going to click the register button, read the terms and all of that. So that sounds good. So we're going to select register with GCKey, and then we are brought onto this page. Now on this page, you can see it's telling us to like sign in, but you don't want to do that. You don't have an account just yet, remember? So you want to look at the right hand side of the tab where you have simple secure access, and it says sign up. This is what you want to go for, right? So you select this button, it brings us to terms of services. You read this, yeah, be sure to read the details. And yeah, once you're okay with it, you click I accept, right? And then we're brought on to the next page. So they have some pretty interesting breadcrumb system going here. So we have terms of service, username, password, questions and answer, and we have email. So we're going to basically like do all of that. So the first thing I'll start with is yeah, what's the username? I'll just pick a username here. I'll just say my username is Sage City, and I'm going to click continue, and then password, I'm going to pick something that I want to pick. Okay. Did they match? All right, fingers and toes crossed. And that my passwords actually match. All right. Okay, hold on. It seems like we didn't pass all the tests. You see, your password should not contain characters from your username, right? So you definitely do not want any of that. Yeah. Okay. No. We passed the test actually with that password. So let's just go with that. So be careful while choosing your password, because this is very important and sensitive for you as a person. You definitely don't want it to be a password that's publicly shared or that's at risk. So make sure you pick a password that only you knows, so you don't end up doing something. And make sure it's one you can actually remember, right? So you do not lose it, because yeah, you don't want to be in that trouble of not knowing your password. So let's go on. I'm going to click continue here, and it brings us to this interesting area where, yeah, we're in the next step where it says create your recovery questions. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill this part out with the questions I want, and we'll basically check back after I'm done filling all of this, right? Okay, guys, we're back. I'm done filling out that section for my questions and answers. I'm sure you definitely go and fill yours out. And now, the next section we're brought on to is an optional account recovery, where they're asking us an email address that you might want to use for recovery. So I'll just go ahead and fill this as well. I'll see you guys back once I'm done filling this. All right. Before I go, this part of it is simply so you have an option to recover your email. Like you have an option to recover your account with a different email. So should you lose access to your email address, it just adds like an extra layer of verification that can be useful for you should you ever lose access to your email address or yeah, your account really. So I think it's good you go ahead and fill this, even though they kind of say optional over here. So I'll just go ahead and do that. So you probably don't want to skip this. So I recommend you definitely fill this one out. Yeah. All right. And finally, we are done. It says you have successfully created your GCKey. The username is Sage City. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We have it. All right. So we're done with that, and we are brought to our homepage. It says Sage City, and it tells us everything that we can do. So right now we're here, and this is fantastic that we get to see this. So let's move on and see what it is. We have a big terms and services, so be sure to read this. Yeah, and now we are in the actual page where we get to create our account. We've just created that GCKey sort of account with our email. So right now we're going to create our account. So you're asking for our name. So I'm just going to enter in my name here. All right. right, so be sure to enter your details here correctly. Yeah, so you choose your language of preference. This says preferred language of notification, so I want that in English. So just choose that. And remember, if you're confused about stuff, the first one, given name here, what does it say? It says a given name is the names given to you at birth. Now, if you check on your passport, usually you have your given names. Most people, if you have 3 names, usually it's going to be your first and your middle name. So in your passport, you're going to see that spelled out correctly. So when you see given name / names, be sure to pick that and use it. Like just like see the example, if a person's name is Mark Paul Jenkins, his given names are Mark Paul, while his last name is the Jenkins. So be sure you don't mess this one up. All right, so just enter in your details here and let's click continue. Now they're asking us to create security questions to be able to access our accounts. Now, this is different from the security questions we created for the GCKey. So these are just security questions that are important for our account, a unique account. So right now, I'm just going to go ahead and fill this up and catch you guys once I'm done. All right, guys, we are done. Finally, we are done with that. So you can see our Sage City account has been created. This is fantastic. We're finally at this page, and this is what your dashboard should look like if you're done with every single thing. And this is so amazing because through this portal, you can get to submit many different applications. So right now, what we've just succeeded doing is we've created our GCKey 1, and 2, we've created our account on the CIC portal. So right now we are ready to go. So now let's see, where do you start? So we've created an account, which is the first part of this video. Now the second part, we are going to look at exactly how we make the application for the student visa, right? Now that we have an account. So let's go into this. You see there are different options. If you scroll down to the bottom, the first section says view applications you've submitted. The second section says continue an application you haven't submitted. It means they just help us to segment our different applications, right? So let's check at the bottom. We have something called start an application. Okay, so this is what we want to do right now. Let's look into it. It says this includes application for visitors visa that apply to come to Canada. This is what I'm reading. It says includes application for visitors visas, work permit, study permit, express entry, international experience, Canada. You need your personal reference code if you have one. Okay, personal reference code. That means maybe you started an application with a different system, and you basically have that code. You basically just like plug that code in here and continue the process. So now this sounds like what we want to do. You gain an admission to school. Remember what I said. You want to apply for your study permit, right? So because we want to apply for a study permit primarily, that is why we are going to be clicking apply to come to Canada. So selecting it, and the first question it asks us, what is our personal reference code? And if you read what it says now, if you had completed this wizard, you would have gotten a personal reference code, but we didn't complete any of that, so we don't have one, and we don't need one at this point. You just need to scroll down to the bottom. It says I don't have a personal reference code. This is what we're looking for, right? It says if you don't have a personal reference code, you may answer a series of questions to find out if you're eligible to apply for a visa or permit. Then they say apply for express entry or begin an online application. So now what do we want? You want to look down. It says determine your eligibility and apply online. So the first section is, the first button here says visitors visa, study permit, and work permit. Second one says express entry, and the third one says international experience Canada. So what we want is the first one, visitors visa, study permit, and work permit. So I'm going to click this button here. It brings us to this page. It's like a little questionnaire that allows us to see if we are eligible to apply. So you're going to have to do this. So let's go ahead and do it here. The first question says, what would you like to do in Canada? If you click on this little question mark that you see here, it brings up like an explanation, like a help of sorts, right? It's an explanation of what that question means. So wherever you see that question mark, you definitely want to click it just to make sure that you're doing the right thing, especially if you're confused as to what that question might mean. So it says, permits and visas may need to be issued depending on what you want to do. A permit is an official document. Okay, I get the gist. All right. So what would you like to do in Canada? We would like to study in Canada. So that's the first thing. You select that. And then they say, how long are you planning to stay in Canada? Now, this is the second question is required. So because you're applying for a study permit, I remember we are picking a school based on the previous videos. We're picking a school that is minimum of 1 year, so we can be eligible for the postgraduate work permit, right? Minimum of 8 months, really 1 year. Even though effectively it's 8 months. We're going with 1 year, so it means what we want. Be careful here, guys. What we want is temporarily more than 6 months. That's what you want to select here. So you pick that option. Then the next question says, select a code that matches the one in your passport. So I'm just going to say I am Nigerian. Yeah, because I am proudly. So basically, I'll select NGA, Nigeria. You can pick whatever country, if you're Ghana, whatever country that matches with Ghana, South Africa, whichever country, wherever you're coming from, the United Kingdom, wherever, pick the country that matches with yours. So I'm just going to go with Nigeria over here. And yeah, we can go on with that. So I've selected that. And next one says, what is your current country of residence? If you're present in Canada, you should select Canada. So because I want to make this easy, even though I am present in Canada right now, I'm not going to be selecting Canada. I'll just select Nigeria. So it does not skew the application process for someone who is outside the country. So you go ahead and pick whatever country, where if you're in Ghana, South Africa, Senegal, wherever, just pick the country that you are applying from, right? So I'm going to select Nigeria over here. And then it's asking you, do you have a family member who is a citizen or permanent resident in Canada that's 18 years or older? So I'm going to say no to this. If you do have, absolutely say yes. This will probably even give you some, basically you're going to answer this. This can be helpful in terms of like if you're applying for permanent residency or you're applying for like different things where you need sponsorship, or even helps to, depending on your situation, it's not something that's going to make or mar your application really. So say yes or no. Don't think too much about it. Yeah, just say, for me, I'm going to say no here. Because when I came to Canada, I didn't have anyone in Canada. So I said no and everything worked fine. And yeah, basically, you don't have to lie about this. All right, so what is your date of birth? I'm going to select something here. Let's just imagine I was born in the year 19... let's say I was born in the year 1991, and let's say I was born in August, and let's say I was born on the 10th of August. So 10th of August 1991. Perfect it. All right, let's go with that. So I'm gonna click next here, and let's see what's next. You say find out if you are eligible to apply. So the next question and that they're giving us here says, are you a lawful permanent resident of the United States with a valid US citizenship, right, or green card? So nope, we are not. So we'll say no to this. Nope. Yep. Next. What's next? Have you been accepted to a designated learning institution? Remember what I said. Now guys, if you didn't watch that video, the link is up here. Be sure to check it out because this is very important. This can make or mar your application. If you apply to an institution that's not on that list, designated learning institution list, you're just wasting your time. I'm sorry. So yeah, be sure you select yes. So we have been accepted. Remember, you've gained an admission to school, which is a designated learning institution. So let's go ahead and click yes. Then we click next. Then they ask us for our marital status. So I don't know if you remember the first part of my video on this series where I talked about how that you could come along with your spouse and your dependent. So absolutely, if you're married, this is your point to make that difference. So what's gonna happen is I'm going to click that I'm not married, but if you're married, go ahead and select that. Okay, you know what? I'm going to click that I'm married, and then I'm going to explain what the differences are as we go along, right? Or let's keep it simple. I would explain what differences are. I'll go through the single path, and then yeah. So remember, guys, if you have any questions, be sure to ask me in the comments. I'm looking forward to your questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. All right, so let's see. I'll say never married, single, and what's your province of destination? Right, if visiting multiple provinces, select the one in which you spend most of your time. So let's say we got a school in Ontario, right? I'm just gonna select Ontario here, and I'll click next. All right, guys, awesome. So it turns out that we're eligible to apply for a study permit. Now, this is exciting news. Now you're gonna click continue over here, and yeah, it says you're almost there. We're gonna ask you we're gonna ask you a few more questions based on your answer. Based on your answers, we'll provide you with a personal checklist of documents you will need to submit with your application. Do not submit multiple applications for the same service in an effort to speed up your application. Doing this may result in both applications being processed and delay the finalization of your application. We do not refund processed applications. So now this is very important, right? So don't submit multiple applications because you want your application to be sped up. All right, so let's go on and look at these questions they want to ask us. I'm going to click continue over here. And yeah, so the first question they're asking us is find out if you're eligible to apply. So the first question here says, do you have a valid work permit or student permit and need a visa to return Canada? So this is not our case. Now, if you click on this question mark, you see it says, check the expiry date of your work permit or student permit. So in our case, we've never, I'm assuming this is your first time. So you've never you've never been to Canada. So this is a case for someone who is already in Canada as maybe a student, and he just needs a visa because he traveled out of Canada and his visitor's visa expired. So this is not our case in this situation. What we are looking for is we've never had the visa, we've never had a student permit, we're trying to apply for that. So what we're going to answer here is we're going to say no. This is our answer. We are going to say no to this. All right, I'm going to click next. Now, the next question is asking, are you an exchange student? So I'm going to say no. The next one is work an essential component of your studies? So for this, you want to check the program that you're studying to. Some programs have co-op in the sense that they have a co-op program attached to them. Or some programs like literally have that work. In the program description for the admission you gain, they'll tell you if work is an essential part of your studies. So that's like, yeah, so co-op, that's what you should be thinking about over here. So in your case, it might be yes, it might be no. So if it's yes, go ahead and select yes. If it's no, go ahead and select no. I'll just pick yes, yeah, assuming I picked a co-op program. Now, that doesn't really change the fact that if the program is postgraduate work eligible, you would get a postgraduate work permit, or rather you'll be able to apply for a postgraduate work permit after school and get that and work after. So now this is just about while in school, are you going to be working? So people that do co-op is like an internship or IT. So just think about it like something like that. So you school, and then just before you end your schooling, you go on like this 1 year co-op program to work in the field and gain industry work experience, and then after that you come back and write your final exams and like you're done with school. But then that's just one path. The second one is you just finish with school and yeah, you get your certificate straight up without doing any co-op. So basically it's really up to you which it doesn't make or mar our goals, because it just gives you an advantage. So if you want it, if it's worth it for you, you can go for it. Now, the next question they're asking is, are you a spouse or common law partner of certain skilled workers, of certain or of a full-time international student that has or will have status in Canada? Now, this is a question they're asking, like, are you a spouse of someone? Like, let's say your spouse is already in Canada and you are trying to apply to come to Canada as well. So that's what this question is about. So basically we'll just select that no, we are not. And they're asking if we are a recipient of Commonwealth scholarship or a scholarship. So you're gonna answer this question based on your situation. I'm just gonna say no here. let's say we are not a part of any Canadian aid program or anything like that. So just say no. If it's yes for you, absolutely go ahead and say yes. That's up to you. So I'm going to click next here. And next section of questions, they're asking us, are you accompanying a family member that has status in Canada, has recently been applied? So now this question is for someone, let's say you gained admission and you came and or you gained admission, you applied for yourself, and then your spouse is kind of like applying. So if you read the question mark, you see it says that this means you'll be staying with a family member who is already in Canada or has applied to come to Canada. So this question isn't for us. So we'll say no here, and then we'll proceed. Now the next question says, have you ever committed, been arrested or charged or convicted criminal offense in any country? I say no to this. Next. Next question, have you had a medical exam performed by IRCC by an authorized panel physician in the last 12 months? So I'm going to speak a bit more about this question. This question is, yeah, we can say yes or no to this question. In this case, I'm going to say no to it, but I'll tell you during the next part of this video why you might want to put yourself in a position to be able to say yes to this, just in case you want your application process to be a tiny little bit quicker. You going ahead to, if it's possible, that's if it's allowed in your place, to like perform a test. Or let's say you've taken a test, maybe you applied for work permit or you applied for a regular visitor's visa within the last 12 months. This, if you're able to answer yes to this question and you already have your test taken and uploaded, it saves you that extra 30-day time frame where you might have to go take a test and scramble around to go get an appointment and all of that. So yeah, so I'm going to say no to this, but definitely something that we are going to come back to when we get to the section for the documents you're going to be uploading. So I'm going to click no and I'll go on and say next. All right. Have you visited or lived in any one of the designated countries for 6 consecutive months in the last year? Okay, so I'm going to click this question mark because I don't know what the designated countries are. So if you want to know more about it, you're going to click that button. But hold on, it's trying to kick us out. So I'm going to click cancel. Come back here. All right. So let's see if we can open it in a new tab. Yeah. So I think you should check this. Okay, it's trying to kick us out. So I think you should Google the designated countries that it's talking about. If you've lived there for 6 consecutive months, just so you're clear. Yeah, you should just Google this question and find out what those 6 designated countries are. No, not 6. Find out what those designated countries are for yourself. So I'm going to say no because I'm pretty sure I haven't lived in any of those designated countries. So I'm going to click next over here. So the next question says, do you want to submit an application for a family member? So now, if you intend to come with your family, you're going to say yes to this. Remember, I'm doing this as a single person, so I'm going to say no. But if you want to come with a family member, you're going to say yes to this, and it's going to give you an option to submit documents by yourself and on behalf of your family members. That's your spouse, your dependents, your children, and that's it. So I'm going to click next. Then it's asking, find out if you're eligible to apply. And then it says, are you giving someone access to your application? The answer is no. Next, in the past 10 years, have you given your fingerprints? So if you've never been to Canada, according to this application, so we'll say no. Click next. And then next question says, there are fees associated with this application. Will you be paying your fees, or are you exempt? Are you fee exempt? So I'm going to say, yes, I will be paying my fees. So you're going to have to take a look at this to find out if you could be fee exempt. You're going to read this and find out what your situation is. For me, I'm going to be paying my fees. So click next. Next question is asking, are you able to make a digital copy with a scanner or camera? Absolutely. We are making an online application. This is the least we can do. If you can make a digital copy, I'm saying no. So now we want to submit everything online. So therefore, yes, we're gonna have to do that. All right. Next question Says, will you be paying the application fees online? To pay the fees, you can use credit card, yada yada yada, all of these cards. So we're paying the fees online. Yes. Click next. What's the next question? Awesome. Review your answers. So we are here and showing us our questions and the answers we've provided. We're here to study. We're going to be here for temporarily more than 6 months. Nigeria. Do you have a family member? No. All right. So just review the questions here. I'll just take my time and scroll through this so you can see the answers I've provided and cross check them with yours. Just to be sure you have your answers in the right places. And yeah, make sure you do this uniquely to your peculiar situation, so you don't just have to use mine. And once you're done with this, I'm going to click continue here because I'm satisfied with this. And it says, yeah, it's telling me about submitting my application.